Back here on another week of Jacked Up Recap. I'm Cody Lefkoach, the voice of your Jackalopes, and this week we're going to be with defenseman Rowan Savidant. And, Rowan, let's start by talking about last week. You guys were in Corpus Christi playing the Ice Rays, and it was a pretty big weekend that just didn't turn out in your guys' favor.
Yeah, Corpus is the team that we're chasing in the standings, and, we needed all 4 points, and we ended up getting swept. So, you never want to get swept, but, that one especially hurt, them being the team that we were chasing. So, it hurt.
Let's start by talking about that Friday night game. You guys went into Corpus Christi. You were down 4 games, and you thought that it would be a good one. They scored first. You retaliated, and it went back and forth in the first period. Coming into second, you guys thought you'd have a really good chance, but, Hoagie left out to dry a little bit, a couple of open ice shots, a couple of mishits on power plays for them, and they came out to 10 power plays.
Yeah, anytime you take 10 penalties in a game, it's, your chances of winning aren't too good, and, we kind of let Hoagie out to dry there. 4 goals against, I think, and all 4 of them were pretty bad defensive lapses. So, Hoagie's a great goalie, and all 4 of those were on us.
Now jumping ahead to Saturday, you and Christian have been pretty consistent together since Haas has come back from his injury. Even on Saturday and Friday, you guys played very well in those losses. Ended up losing 4-1 on Saturday, but you got the lone goal for the Jacks, and not a big goal score. Must have felt pretty good.
Yeah, I obviously would have wanted to win, but anytime I can contribute offensively, I'll take it. My role is more of shutting down the other team's scores, but I'll take any goals I can get for sure.
And you and Haas, like I said, have done a great job of that over the last couple weeks. Once again, even on Saturday, it was a couple of defensive lapses by the whole defense, even the forwards. You guys came out in the first period. You were hitting. You were playing very well. You were playing Jackalope style of hockey. You could see it dial it back in the second, give up 1 goal. It's tied 1-1 entering the third, and then I don't know what it was. I wasn't in the locker room. The mentality maybe or whatever it may be. What happened in the third period that allowed Corpus Christi to get 2 more and then an empty netter?
I think our intensity just wasn't there. Our compete level wasn't as high as it needed to be, and if you take any shifts off in this league, teams will, expose you. So I think the compete level was just, a step behind of where it needed to be, and ultimately I think it, costs us the game.
And John Flackney played very well in that Saturday game as well, and that looks good that both of your goaltenders are playing so well in that weekend. Going forward, you guys are in Lone Star this weekend playing the first place Brahmas. They need 1 point to clinch a playoff spot in the division. More likely than not, it's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. How do you guys go into Lone Star and play the same way you've been playing against them the past 6 games and then come out with a victory finally?
Yeah, I think we've played some solid hockey against Lone Star this year. I think they've been a couple 1 or 2 goal games. So, whoever plays in net, we got 2 really good goalies. Either of our goalies can win us a game for sure. Hoagie and Flax are both unbelievable goalies. I think the intensity just needs to be there, and the compete level. I think we have a really good team, very good skill, and I think if we show up, I'm pretty confident that we'll come out with 4 points if we show up for both games.
And always against Lone Star, it's a very physical game. Last time you guys were there, 4 fights in a matter of 2 days. Nick Wilson took 2, Connor Wood, and then Riley Bouchard. Lots of fighting going on. It's a very physical matchup between these 2 teams. Lots of bad blood, it seems, over the past year. But you guys are getting a good guy back who likes to go out and hit. And Rune Kirby, he's been out 3 weeks now, off the IR this week. He's going to be available to play this weekend.
Yeah, that'd be a good addition. Rune is a great character guy, works hard every shift. And, it'll be good to have him coming on the road trips. And, he's a great player. So it'll be great to have him back.
All right, now let's go on to a segment called Meet the Player, where we're going to get to know a little bit more about you, Rowan Savidant. So let's start it off. Depending on where you look, they give you a different birthplace. So you look at Elite Prospects, they say Carleton Place, Ontario. You go to Hockey DB or even the Jack site, it says Clarkson, Michigan. Let's set the record straight. You you played midget in Detroit area, then you went and played juniors in Canada before finding your way to Odessa. Let's start it off. Talk about how you came to Odessa.
Okay, we'll set the record straight here. I was born in Flint, Michigan. Played my minor hockey in in Metro Detroit. I played growing up with Lapeer Minor Hockey Association. My dad was my coach growing up, and then I started playing AAA for my first team was Honey Baked, and then I went and played for Little Caesars and then Bell Tire, and I played my major midget with CompuWare, and then I started playing I think I was 16 or 17 when I moved to Canada and played 3 years in the CCHL, and now I'm here. Yeah.
Now your play a little bit, you're so versatile, and the stats don't show it. Only 3 goals and 3 assists. Never been a big stats guy, but the versatility is shown off the stat sheet. You can go up, you can play forward for Gatto and Mitch when they need it. You can come back. Defense is really your solid position that you play the majority of the time. What's allowed you to go and be able to play those positions?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, I played for Little Caesars and Bell Tire. I played only forward at Little Caesars, and my minor midget year, I went and played half forward and half defense with the '96 Bell Tire team. And then CompuWare, I went and played forward and defense. So actually, growing up, I was more of a forward. I made the U.S. development camps as a forward, and then I went as a 17-year-old, made it as a defenseman. So, yeah, like you said, my stats aren't super great, but I take pride in making a good first pass and being offensive in the sense that I can make a good breakout pass or, make a first move on a guy and make a breakout pass. So, yeah, I'm offensive in the sense that, yeah, I can make plays, that don't directly result in scoring, but, yeah.
One of my favorite stories, I guess it's about you, is we were in Blaine, Minnesota for the showcase, and your dad comes up to me on the last day of the showcase after that final game, and he tells me, hey, you have to start putting assists on Twitter. My son is never going to be on there for a goal. And then the very next game, we travel to Wichita Falls, you go and get yourself a goal, and then 2 in the last 5 games, you're really getting to show him, that you get to put your name out there.
Yeah, he always gives me a hard time that, I don't put up a lot of goals, but yeah, anytime I can score, I kind of rub it in his face a little bit. Yeah.
Now the team calls you the human missile. I mean, you just fly all over the ice back and forth. When did they start calling you this, and when did you figure out that this was the energy that you were going to be able to play with?
So I think we were playing against Shreveport, and I think we had a bunch of injuries up front, so they needed a forward to kind of fill in. I think they were playing with 3 centers and 4 sets of wingers, so they needed someone to go up, and I jokingly said I'm going to go out there and play like Tom Wilson. Guy's just a jerk out there, just skates around as hard as he can and just tries to hurt people. So I just tried to bring the boys some energy, and puck got dumped in, and just first shift of forward, just cranked a guy, back checked, cranked another guy, and yeah, they just called me the human missile. So yeah.
Now, one of the looser players on the team, one of the guys who tries to crack a joke every chance possible. One of your favorite things is coming up with little chirps for the other team that usually don't make much sense, but you test them out on the guys. What are some of your favorites?
Yeah, I like to have fun, and yeah, there's a time to be serious. That's for sure. I don't cross that line. When it's time to be serious, I'm serious. But yeah, hockey's a game. I like to have fun with it. So so I'll be on the bench and I'll call someone on the other team like, hey, 21, and they look, and I just go, never mind, and they're really confused. So that's just kind of one of the more innocent ones, but yeah, that's one of them.
Let's go on now. Let's do a rapid fire questions. A couple that are coming. Let's see how good you are and how quick you are to respond. So starting it off, what's your nickname on the team?
Savvy, or Sav Nasty.
What's your favorite hockey team?
Big Ottawa Senators fan. My dad's from Ottawa, and he brainwashed me from a young age. So I'm from Detroit, but I'm a huge Sens fan.
What player in the NHL would you say that you try to model your game after?
I'd say Duncan Keith. He's, like I said earlier, he's offensive in the sense that yeah, you can make a good first pass. He'll only score 5 or 6 goals a year, but he'll rack up points just from making good breakout passes. So I'd say Duncan Keith.
What would you say is your pregame routine?
Pre-game routine, I like to keep it pretty loose. I don't like to take game days too seriously. I don't like to overanalyze what I'm doing. Just play soccer, hang out with the guys, have some laughs, get ready for the game basically.
What about superstitions that you have before, during, or after?
So me and my roommate, before the game, right before puck drop, our assistant coach, Mitch, throws up a smelling salt to Christian. He cracks it, gives a little whiff, and then puts it in my nose. I get a little whiff. It gets me going. And before we go out for puck drop, I slam a bunch of pre-workout and slam the cup on the ground. It gets the guys going. So that's those are the only routines I have before the game.
Not to mention, you get to announce the lineup a lot of the time.
Yeah, we went on a little losing streak, so I got that privilege taken away. But yeah, I like to give the guys a little intro, get the guys going. So yeah, just try to bring a lot of energy before the game.
What's your favorite pregame meal?
Favorite pregame meal? Nice fettuccine alfredo with chicken and a salad.
What about your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'm a big movie guy. I have to say Hell or High Water is one I've seen recently that's pretty good. The Revenant and Holes are my 3 favorite movies.
If you could go on a dream date with anybody, who would you choose?
Margot Robbie. She's absolutely gorgeous.
What about if you could choose one superpower?
Probably the ability to fly. I like traveling and cut down on airfare would be pretty nice.
What would you say is your spirit animal out there on the ice?
Oh, that's a hard question. I don't know. Barracuda, maybe. Those got just full of energy, just vicious. Yeah, Barracuda.
What about if you were to go to karaoke one night and you could only choose one song to sing?
It's a hard one. I'm a big John Mayer guy. Maybe slow dancing in a burning room. Tone it down a little bit, get the girls going. Probably John Mayer. Something John Mayer.
And then last question: do you have any hidden talents that the people at home may not know about you?
I do a pretty good DMX impression. Just impressions in general. I like making fun of the guys, mocking them. So probably impressions.
All right, thanks, Rowan.
Yeah, thank you.
That'll do it for this week's edition of Jacked Up Recap. You can follow us along on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter all season long or at jackalopes.org.